She's thinking, yeah, foul ball, that'd be great. Don't need a shower, though.
Listen, I know that accidents happen, but I probably would have been annoyed for the next 5, maybe 7.5 seconds because I just don't like getting anything spilt on me. But if you didn't think that that clip was funny, I guess here's a clip to make up for it. Here's a little cute lizard jumping onto the camera at the Marlins game. What's going on, everyone? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another MLB recap. We have a lot to talk about today. Clayton Kershaw made some history, not MLB history, but Dodgers history. Joey Votto, I'm going to throw up this graphic right now, so if you're looking away, yeah, he feels completely embarrassed by the Reds and also his own performance. And then we also had a battle in Chicago that took place in the rain. Vince Velasquez versus Mike Trout, they were having some fun. But if this is your first time on the channel, we talk baseball every single day, so don't be afraid to hit subscribe. And also, if you're going to any baseball games or concerts anytime soon, save yourself money on SeatGeek using code Fuzzy. So let's go ahead and talk about the Dodgers game before we talk about the walk-offs from yesterday. I cannot believe that Clayton Kershaw is approaching the Dodgers record after about 2,800 innings because Don Sutton owns the Dodgers strikeout record, but it took him almost 4,000 innings. So let's talk about Mookie for just a quick second because he belts one and he's kind of having a weird season. He's hitting just 232, but he has a 352 on base percentage and 19 runs scored already. So he's getting on base at a high clip, and that's really all that you can ask for out of anyone. All right, now back to Kershaw. He needs 4 strikeouts to pass Don Sutton for the Dodgers record. He allows a run in the third after Baez singles home Derek Hill, and I think that bothered him because he gets the record in the fourth, but he was back on the bump, ready to pitch and trying to strand that runner that he let get to first base. He eventually steps off. He enjoys the moment, and rightfully so, because the man is a 4-time Cy Young winner, an MVP. He has a career 2.59 ERA. That is gross. Unfortunately, though, LA falls after Bo Brisky, I think that's how you say his name, diced up that Dodgers lineup. The Tigers score 4 between the 7th and the 8th innings, and this is one of those W's that can really spark a rally for a young team. So Tigers fans, they're crossing their fingers that this is the W that turns around their season. All right, let's talk about a few walk-off victories, shall we? The Pirates and the Padres. This was a true roller coaster game, back and forth, back and forth. Chavis knocks in one, and then Hosmer, I mean, he might be the best hitter in baseball right now, aside from Jose Ramirez and Nolan Arenado. He brings home 3 with 1 swing. The Pittsburgh Pirates show some dog, and they fight back to tie it up at 3 runs apiece. And speaking of dog, Jake Marisnick might be leading the league, and he's got dog in him. After this play, the full extension to Rob Ha-Seong Kim, but he doesn't do it just once. He does it twice, and then, Manny Machado steps in and avoids Jake entirely, says, I'm not going to hit it to left field. I'm going to center 430 feet on this missile, and the Ice Horse answers. Michael Chavis, such a beautiful swing, almost brings a tear to my eye. So this one is going to need some free baseball. Extra innings we go, where the Padres put fear into the Pirates fan base, but it wasn't warranted because Hayes delivers the tie up, and Hosmer, he can't grab this one, even though he's pretty much known as a better defender than offensive player. That's kind of shifting this year. Hayes is going to have to beat out the throw. He flies around, ends up beating it after the umpires go to the replay system and find out that he was in fact safe. So they get a surprise W. The Orioles and the Red Sox, Xander gives Nathan Eovaldi an early lead to work with, and he did not look back from there. Nathan was vintage 2021 first half. Eovaldi throwing up 0 after 0. He strikes out his 8th Oriole to end his 7-inning shutout performance, and he needs the bullpen to hold it. And they fold. They choke again. Santander ups his on-base percentage to 402 and grabs his 8th RBI. He ties it at 1 apiece, and we head to extras where Jorge Mateo's speed must have just rushed Sawamura because Jorge Mateo is probably the fastest human in baseball. So he thought, I got to get this ball there. And then he throws it into the outfield, resulting in a walk-off error. So I'm just going to move on so I don't annoy Boston Red Sox fans. But good job, Baltimore. Way to get a W. Let's move on and talk about the top dog in the AL East right now, and actually all of baseball right now, the New York Yankees. It was slow offensively for both, but the Yankees do enough to give Garrett Cole a lead, and Ace Cole is back. I know Nestor Cortez is really good, and he's starting off pretty hot this year, but Garrett Cole is their ace. Let's not get it twisted. So they're even scarier now because he goes 6 shutout innings with 6 strikeouts. He now has 15 strikeouts and 12 shutout innings over his last 2 starts, and he has not allowed a run since that shortest start of his career dating back to April 19th. So I feel like Garrett Cole is finally back, and he is going to be deadly for the rest of the year. The Yankees bullpen dominates again. Speaking of deadly, Chapman finishes it off with a 1-2-3 appearance for his 5th save, and the Yankees have now won 8 in a row, and they own the best record in MLB, the first time that's happened since September 14th of 2019. So the Yankees have scored the most, and they've allowed the least amount of runs, so they are getting it done on both sides of the diamond. The Blue Jays are right there, though. They're just 1.5 game back. And speaking of the Blue Jays, let's talk about them right now. 3 runs were scored in this entire game, and all 3 came on 3 different swings. George Springer ends up being the entire Toronto offense. It feels nice versus his former team. Yordan Alvarez, like I said yesterday, get out your telescopes with Jorge Soler. Get him out again. Look at this. This one ends up 450 to the second deck in dead center. Jose Barrios ends up tossing 5 2/3, just nearly misses 6 innings, and just allows that 1 run to Yordan. He struck out 7. The Toronto bullpen does its job. I would say the Toronto bullpen is average. I think they're 16th in bullpen ERA. Romano and Simber, they've been really good. That's save number 10 for Jordan Romano, so that means that the Jays aren't really blowing anyone out, as they have 14 Ws and Romano has 10 saves. In order to get a save, you have to have a 3-run lead, so they are getting the job done, but we haven't really seen the Jays at their fullest potential, at least offensively, or maybe their pitching just has been that bad. The White Sox and the Angels, TA7 is not trying to bring his defensive woes into the batter's box, and he proves that here. I love leadoff home runs. And look at Lubob. Luis Robert is not human. It almost looked like he missed this pitch, but that ends up a few rows back in right field. Just the crazy raw strength on this guy is insane. All right, we move on to Vince Velasquez. He was so good, striking out 6 and shut down that vaunted Halos offense. Unfortunately, a rain delay ends his day, not before, and he and Mike Trout had some fun. Mike was like, let me hit, and Vince was like, let me pitch. So they were having some fun. I thought maybe they would stay on. But anyways, the Chicago bullpen makes quick work of Anaheim, and Liam Hendricks does not implode this time around. This Sox team was picked by many to make the World Series. They're 8-12, and that is very deceiving. They are better than 4 games under 500, in my opinion. All right, this game was kind of easy to recap because the Diamondbacks and the Cardinals were both completely shut out by their starting pitchers. Merrill Kelly has now thrown 19 consecutive scoreless innings. He had 4 strikeouts in 7 shutout innings. He has only allowed 4 earned runs total in his first 30-ish innings this year. Miles Michaelis was at it too, matching him pitch for pitch, throwing 7 scoreless as well. Tel Marte reigns on the parade of Cardinals fans, ripping his first home run of the year, and then Nick Ahmed goes yard as well. And then the 37-year-old phenom Ian Kennedy picks up his first save. The Diamondbacks are now 10-12, but if you did not know, they had the toughest ranked schedule to begin the season of anyone. So what do we think? Can that rotation continue to hold teams to scoreless frame after scoreless frame? Merrill Kelly and Mad Bum, and I can't remember the other guy, but I don't think they're going to finish with sub-2 ERAs for the rest of the season. The Giants and the Nationals, Logan Webb got knocked around early on, but his lineup stepped up. Tyro Estrada hits one in the gap in the bottom half after Logan Webb gave up a few, and he plates 2 on this swing. He later uses his speed to beat out a double play, bringing in his 3rd RBI on the day. So San Francisco takes the lead, and then Dubon makes it 4-2. Logan Webb ends up leaving after 3 earned runs, so it was not his best performance, but Jason Vossler out of nowhere is starting to really impress folks in San Diego. 5 RBIs, 2 home runs, and 24 at-bats, and the Giants score 3 more in that 6th off a few sloppy plays from the Nationals. Vossler adds his 2nd RBI on a sac fly in the 7th, and Darren Ruff, this was a rough landing. It looks like he dove in a pud of tar. He kind of just dove and stuck on the ground. The Giants come away with a 9-3 victory. The Guardians and the A's. Andres Gimenez, this kid is, I'm going to knock on wood before I finish the sentence, breaking out before our very own eyes. That's the first run of the game because Cole Irvin and Shane Bieber were really, really good. They both go 6 innings with 1 earned run. Shane Bieber is finally able to get that pitch count up above 90 without it coming back to haunt us. He goes 7 on 105 pitches, striking out 7 along the way. A 2.45 ERA in his first 5 starts. That will do it. Now you just have to get the lead and actually keep it because Class A has not been the best this year. So this one stays tied into the 9th. And before the season, I want to show you guys this DM exchange I had with Foolish Baseball. I said that I'm a Richie Palacios guy, and then he comes out of nowhere with some dude named Steven Kwan. So Foolish Baseball knows his stuff. He called this in February. We might both be right because Kwan has broken records. Palacio breaks the tie. His 2 RBIs were the first 2 of his career, and I really think that he has earned an everyday spot. It might be time to DFA Logan Allen and Bobby Bradley. But Class A comes in and gets some help from Andres Gimenez up the middle, and he converts another save. Now, staying with the A's real quick, 30 years ago today, we're going to have this day in MLB history towards the middle of today's video.
The all-time Major League stolen base leader.
The Twins and the Rays, Kyle Garlick and Taylor Walls, they trade home runs, and that was all that Chris Archer allowed versus his former team. 4 strikeouts and 4 innings, and then he's going to have that bullpen step up and carry them to a victory. McClanahan was nasty, striking out a career-high 11, but Garlick was seeing beach balls yesterday. He delivers another home run. Trevor Larnach doubles in Celestino, and then Kepler and Correa single in a few more later in the game. and that all happened right before Kepler does it again. He turns on another pitch, 5 home runs and 11 RBIs with an insane 166 OPS plus. He's 29 and ready for a breakout bounce back season because he wasn't very good last year. Jeffers makes it 9-1, and I tried to tell you guys, this Twins team can go places if their pitching holds up. They're 12-8, and they have outscored opponents by 17 runs. I would be afraid of them, and I'm a Cleveland fan. I am afraid of them. The Marlins and the Mariners, Dylan Moore was the only blemish for lefty Jesus Luzardo. So because he allows that early run, his offense is going to have to show up, and Brian De La Cruz starts the rally. He singles in Brian Anderson, and then De La Cruz ignores the stop sign at third, flies around to score on a John Birdie single. The bases ended up loaded, and Garrett Cooper is handed a free RBI on a bases-loaded walk. Luzardo is looking so much better this year. He's breaking out. Again, I'm going to knock on wood. He limits the Mariners to 2 hits on just 1 earned run, and if Bender can get this last out, the Marlins will have 7 consecutive victories, and he gets it done. Miami has a very, very bright future. It just makes me sad that Jeter was pretty much forced out because he was wanting to spend money right now, but the Marlins front office was like, nah, we're going to be patient and trust the young guys. Maybe that was the correct plan. Seager now has a home run in 3 consecutive games, and I didn't realize this, but Sam Huff is now in the big leagues. He is one of those guys that hit 500-plus home runs consistently in the minors. So if you're looking for a sneaky power option in fantasy, Sam Huff might be your guy. So it's 2-0 when Ronald steps in. And remember that excuse me swing a couple days ago from Trout that turned into a triple against the Guardians? Yeah, Ronald does his best Trout impression. He bloops on over Nate Lowe's head for an RBI. Zach Rex, which is one of my favorite names in baseball because he wrecked this. An RBI single to the right side for his first career hit, and Dane Dunning was fantastic. Almost 8 innings, 7 strikeouts, 0 walks, and Joe Barlow secures his first save. The Brewers and the Cubs, if you're single, you're going to be able to relate to this first inning just like me because I'm also single, only because the Brewers scored 3. All of them on singles. There's another one in the third off the bat of Mike Brasso until Tellez breaks the single streak with a booming 2-run home run. Notice how the Cubs only have 1 run, and that's because Eric Lauer was at it again. 7 innings, 11 strikeouts, so he has 34 strikeouts in 23 innings. Oh yeah, and a 1.96 ERA, so that is now a 4-headed monster in Milwaukee. So if Lauer's breaking out and this guy's back, Yelich, this team is going to be scary. 12 RBIs and a 112 OPS plus after this home run, and then Renfroe goes back-to-back, which makes me think Boston got robbed in the Andrew Benintendi trade and the Hunter Renfroe trade because Jackie Bradley Jr. has been maybe the worst hitter in baseball to start off 2022. There wasn't a no-hitter in this Phillies-Mets game, but both starting pitchers were nearly unhittable. Kyle Gibson, Gibby, and Taijuan Walker were both basically unhittable, allowing 2 hits through their first 5 shutout innings. Lindor puts the ball in play in the 5th, and Nimmo uses his sneaky speed to swipe a run. And then Lindor's defense stops the Phillies from scoring in the 6th, but Francisco could not help on this one. Schwarbombs are back, 435 to dead center, and well, not really dead center, but you know what I'm trying to say. Odubel Herrera doubles to shallow left for the Phillies' 3rd run, and then Hoskins, he has to get it going. He's hitting under 200 with a sub, 100 OPS plus. He's got to keep this up. Knebel lowers his season ERA to 0.96 after his 4th save, so the Phillies are now 2-3 against the Mets this year. Who's going to be the best team in that division? And then last but not least, the Rockies and the Reds. We're going to talk about Joey Votto in just a second, but Tyler Naquin lifts the first pitch of the game, and no one else scores until the 5th. Cincinnati is up 2-0 versus Chad Kuhl, but the Rockies kept their cool. Chuck Nasty barely misses a home run. He settles for an RBI, and then another run scores, so it's not an RBI because it scored on a throwing error, so it's all tied up. JK, not anymore. Ryan McMahon triples home 2 more for Chad Kuhl, who gets his 3rd win of the season. Daniel Bard collects save number 6, and the Reds fall to 3-18. So this was said a couple days ago when the Reds were 3-16, so I can't imagine it's getting much better, but Joey Votto said that he was embarrassed and that he feels like you just have to keep going, but in the moment, it is pretty pathetic and embarrassing, and I hope that they trade Joey because he deserves much better, even though he's been pretty bad to start the season as well. But thank you all so much for watching. Remember to use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek if you're going to any baseball games. Save yourself some money and enjoy the rest of the web gems from yesterday.
And a fastball right down the middle here is lined to left, and a diving Hayes.
Runner goes, swing and a miss, runner out. And if that holds, that's the 2nd runner that Salvi's gunned down tonight. Boy, what a quick release.
1 Milwaukee. And that's laced into left. Happ diving, and he caught it. Oh, what a play, Ian Happ.